Welcome back to the railroad, everyone. Today we've got some gear replacements to do on this Bachmann Two Truck Shay. So thank you to, we have gears to replace. He's made these of Delron. I'm not sure how he's made them, but he did. So let's get busy and get this thing going. It's always good when you get one of these engines to mark which is the forward end, so you always know how to repackage it. It has blocks usually on the front and rear. You need to be very delicate about removing it from the packaging. And the instructions tell you when you lay this thing on its side to lay it with the gear sight up. You don't want to lay those gears on anything. So when you lay it on here for disassembly, I lay it on with the gear side up, whatever type of a stand you have, nicely. Now this one, you'll notice, doesn't spin, and these are actually slipping. This one just spins free. The gear is completely broken. These are still tight. The forward ones are still connected. So I'm going to replace the two back here. To get a better view of this, none of these should be super tight. This has sat for 17 years, so it's going to be a little tight. Okay, now with everything, you want a tray to set all of your screws in. And I like to keep the screws in about the same area where they came out as they will go back in. Now you'll notice this one on the rear is offset more. This one's closer to center. So this one also is an extremely long bolt. I'm going to do front. The long bolt. That's one side, middle. And all of these are the same size except the two long ones. All right, now to get that up out of here, you don't want to pry heavily on it. A small driver, just enough to break the seal. There we go. And then just lift that off. And you're going to see that there's some old grease in here. We'll renew all the grease. We'll get everything back together right. Now, oh yeah. Okay, these should just slip out. You do not want to pry on anything. Don't put your screwdriver in and pop it out that way. These bearing cases are just set to go down in there. Okay, now if you look at this, that's missing teeth right here. Okay, so we have that off. The gear is actually just slipping on here. Here are the threads where it normally goes in, and of course this meshes here. So that's how we get that back together. Now we have to take this off, press that bearing off, put our new gear on, and actually we should be able to do it on this side so we don't have to mess with that bearing that's near the gear threads. Okay, see what we can do. Okay. And it does have a section in there. That is the washer. It goes back on that. Okay, so we have this washer, and now we have to pull that bearing off and get that broken gear off of there. This is where we're going to run to the garage for a little bit because I have a setup out there to do this with. Okay, we shall return. Okay, so here we are at the garage. We need to pull this bearing off, without hurting it. So what I've done is set up my small vise so that it's just big enough. And I've also put a bag down here taped to the vise to catch the shaft if I actually miss catching it. Alright, then we'll use a wooden block, and it is a soft wooden block, so I have to be kind of careful. And we'll just hammer that right dead center. And we have that bearing free. You can see where it sets down here. And the bearing is still nice and tight. So we didn't damage it any. Okay, let's go put it back together. Okay, so now we need to put this Delron gear, thank you, back on the shaft. Slide it in, and we need to seat it on there. So we'll use our tool here. Okay, that is close. So, and I know close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but we'll try it here. Okay, so we get it set about where it's going to be, and then we secure it in place with some rubber bands. A rubber band anyway. Okay. This one's slipping on a lot nicer than the other one. Just going right into place. We're almost there. Just a little bit more to do. I'll make sure we don't break it. Come down and seat close. Right up to where the threads meet. Okay, okay. All right, I'm satisfied. Take these off and get set for the next one. Okay. Beautiful set. Bearing is nice, spins easily. And we have a nice new Delron attachment on there. Again, thank you. Okay. Okay, we only have about 1/8 of an inch to go. It's getting very close. If you can see the gap there, we're getting right into it. Just took that little bit extra, wasn't much. Okay. Okay, so now we put it back together and we lube it up, get her on there. So the gear end is the one with the geared wheel. Okay. So remember, first we put on washers. One on each side. These will stay on pretty well, so you can put that on early. Now put on the wheel set, and it is keyed so you put it in the correct direction. Put that down. That's good. Now we have our gasket. I'll put the wheel on. It is here. Just. Okay. Washer and screw on. Washer in. Screw on. You don't have to reef on these things. Just nice and snug. And bearings are nice. Okay. So, little bearing lube. Everything else in here looks good. We are going to lube that up a little bit while we're here. And we can get to those gears. Okay. So that'll sit down in there like that. But before we get it in there, we got to get our ball bearings in. Actually, you hold that. Where's the excellent right there? Okay. Okay, put her slung back. It's like,
Did it stay in?
I don't know. I thought I heard it fall, but
Just a second. Just a second.
right.
I
No.
don't.
Okay. That one's there. Yeah, that one's there. They're both in. Okay, thank you.
Just push the wheels down where they go.
That's my next job. Yep. Okay. So. Now. That's better. Much better. Okay. Now, we put back in the power brace. Okay. And we're lubed up well. We've got lube on everything. So we should be ready to go. We'll clean this down good. Okay, so this goes back on like so. Long bolts on the ends. Short bolts in the middles. Okay. Yep. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. Be safe, stay healthy. We'll see you down the rails, and God bless.